Where's my hat?
I don't know.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Chuckles here.
And Chili.
And our fabulous guest down here in the corner. You may introduce yourself, sir. I know you, but not all the homies might.
Hey guys, I'm Chris from Hoyt Airsoft. I build airsoft guns. I help represent a couple companies, and I've been in and out of the airsoft industry for the past 15 years.
It's your boy Chuckles here. Oops, sorry. Forgot to mute the actual so I can follow the chat. Yeah. Okay, anyways, yes. Thanks. Back to your scheduled programming. Chris was gracious enough to join us today on a whim when he called me, and I was like, yo, bro, you want to do this? And he said yes. So thanks for joining me, my friend. It's good to see your face again.
Funny story, when you called me this morning, I was in the middle of my morning poop. And I was like, yeah, sure.
I was like, I was glad. I was like, maybe I should just double check, make sure he still can do it. And then I was like, oh no.
I came out of the bathroom and my fiance was like, were you talking to somebody?
You're like, sorry, honey. The boys called, and we had our Call of Duty.
Yeah, right? Hey.
All right, so just a few quick things before we get to the meat and potatoes of this. We're back in the store, as you can tell, so it's going to be easier for you guys to ask questions about specific products, because then I can do stuff, go up. Yeah. We'll show off some of the newer products right here. I like to get them all gussied up, prettied up for you, so we can do that. Pretty cool. Gaming is open. We're doing 5 sessions now, Friday 5 to 9. Okay, my bad. Saturdays 5 to 9. Saturday, what?
Saturdays 11:30 to 3:30, then again from 4 to 8, and then again from 8:30 to 11:30 at night, and Sundays are 12 to 4.
And this Saturday night, we're going to be doing our Saturday night special, so the 8:30 to 11:30. It's going to be 21 plus Nerf. So I believe there are some limitations with everything going on. So it is BYOB, but you just come, you pay, you bring your alcohol. You can bring Nerf guns or not.
We have some pretty cool Nerf guns.
Some Nerf guns. We got some of the new wrecked CO2 powered pistols that we've been using. So that'll be really great. So come on down. It's fun. You're drunk. It's boozy. I found that I work a lot harder playing Nerf because I don't have any kit and I don't really care. And I'm just like sprinting around, and then by the time I'm done with one game, I'm like, oh my God, I was like, that was the worst idea ever. Why would I do that to myself? You never know how much you're gonna do whatever. Yeah. We're gonna be doing walk-ons only from now on. We don't need to pre-register. We won't have it on our website. All of our policies outlined on the page. The store's open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday. Friday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. So we're open for 13 hours, essentially. And then Sundays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And Monday, we are closed.
We're closed on Mondays.
That's
it.
Yeah.
So I should exclusively show up on Mondays?
Show up on Monday. You will never be disappointed. This is the
cool.
Extreme Airsoft. Mondays is the place to be. We have camps back. I mean, this is our 6th week that we're doing. Fifth week. We did 4. We took 2 weeks off, and so we have 3 more weeks remaining of Nerf camps, which I'm personally running, and then we have the Airsoft camps. Really fun. A lot of kids, a lot of great groups. It's a lot of fun. Even me dealing with all the kids. Airsoft is 10 to 16, and Nerf is, 5 to 12. So if your children, your siblings, whoever, cousins want to have fun, play some Nerf, play some outdoor activities, play some Airsoft, learn a lot of tactics, and learn how to play the ins and outs of the game. This week, I think we have a couple of people that have never actually really played before, so it's really great to see them start to get integrated. So sign up for camps, all on our website. Really great. Don't forget, we have, did I already say we have an online store? We have an online store, so you can buy everything you want, most of it through our online store. We are adding products every day, but if there's something you don't see on our website, and you want, just call us, email us, whatever, and we can pay for it. We can still get stuff shipped out to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the important stuff. Now, the less important stuff. We're gonna talk about Chris here, my friend.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
normal
normal
stuff.
guest.
Not the normal stuff. Okay. So, I mean, Chris, you're kind of. I mean, we haven't seen each other an excessively high number of times. The first time I met you was at SS Airsoft's. Was it 9 years or 8 year?
I think it was the 9 year. Yeah.
It was the 9 year. It was last year, and that was pretty exciting. That was a fun time. I was down there for I was selling in the store for Steve, so we had a lot of product.
What I like? So what the funny thing was is that like it was at that point for me, like going towards the end of my career at Amped, and so like I went out there. And I think up until that point, I was like, I was so rigid about how I would go to events that, like, people would show up and be like, Chris is so professional, and Chris is this, that, and everything else. Which, like, wasn't as I beer burp on this live stream. And that was, like, the perception that I was so professional, I was so, like, cutthroat about everything. And then I, like, met you guys at SS, and I had gone out there with E-House and Amy from Gun Gamers. And so, like, they were working for us at the time, and I know Steve, like, flew them out. We had a great time. We went out there. And it was, like, there was just at some point in the day, I think it was, like, Colby and Aaron, Colby from Hop Up and Aaron from Airsoft Junkies. They were like, we're going to get sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. Do you want any? And I was like, I don't know why, but this just was like the golden shining moment where I was like, yeah, and you know what? We should start drinking now too. like we were drinking out of it, so we like sent somebody to go get a flask. Somebody went and bought a flask and they filled it. And Eric and I were just like showing off HBA products, and we're like excited. We're like, it's like maybe 90 degrees out in the middle of March, and we're like sweating and drenched and everything like that. You're inside like selling stuff for Steve, and there was like weird airsoft drama that was going on like on either side of us, and we were just like, yeah, dude, whatever. We made an airline that says Thanos' ass on it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, like, sell that. And like so we did that. I remember I think I remember when we were standing on that truck from D14, I was probably pretty buzzed when I leaned over my shoulder and I'm like, check this shit out. And then hold up the IGL, and I was like, on this side it says Thanos' ass, and on this side it says Ant-Man, and like literally I thought that they were gonna rush the truck, and you were like, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
I was so not ready for that. I was like, that's the most random shit I've ever heard, but I loved it.
People are like raffling off like F2s and raffling off like custom build kits. And I'm holding up this $25 line that's purple with the dumbest thing on it. And everyone's like, we're going to flip Atlanta. Like, all of it's... And then I just was like... So that was, like, our first... I think that was, like, our first real encounter. And then to, like, knock it all home, Eric and I, like, we're like, yeah, we're going to go to the gas station real quick. We'll be right back. And then we come back with like 6 cases of beer, and we're like, everybody drink this. Steve from SS was like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah.
You made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, that was SS. That was a great time down there. But yeah, I remember kids losing their minds. You said Thanos' ass. I was like,
that was like the hottest meme right there.
I was like. It was just the timing of it too was just like great because I was like, oh, Avengers, because it was just perfect timing. Right. I was just like, it had just burst on the scene. I was like, this is the most. I mean, it was hilarious because I mean, I knew who you were, but I hadn't like met you, so it was cool to meet you and to meet Eric. Yeah, Eric and Amy. I was like, what is happening? I was trying to go back. I thought, because I went to SHOT Show this year, I was like, no, they were. Who did I like? Meet so many people.
We were gonna go to SHOT Show this year, but then COVID sort of was like
the coof.
in the view. Yeah, so it was just kind of like I mean, plus it's so expensive. You know, I love shot. I do love shot, but it's so expensive. So, you know.
Yeah, it was pretty pricey. Like, without the gambling, it was pricey. I was like, ugh. I was like, good thing I planned for this because my wallet was hurting.
I remember when we went like a couple years back. I was like sitting. It was like right before we're about to leave, and we had a night flight, so we were like supposed to land in the morning, and we're sitting there, and it's like I'm standing next to Josh Warren at a blackjack table, and you know, like he's like sitting right next to Josh, or next to Jet, and like Leah's like off somewhere in the, you know, in like the pit with some other people, and I'm just sort of sitting there, and Warren just like looks up at me and he goes, I lost the farm, Paul. And I was like so confused about what had just happened, and I was like, what? And he's like, I'm fucking broke. I don't know if you're allowed to swear. He's like, but I'm broke, and I was like, all right, well, we gotta go.
We gotta go. We gotta.
You guys have a good time. Bye. And just sort of got on a plane and left. But yeah, SHOT Show is always a good time.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you walk in with a fat wallet, you leave without a shirt.
And hungover as
Oh
all
my God.
heck. It killed me.
I slept on Nigel's floor. Nigel from Elite Force, his floor one night, and I woke up to him in his mid-morning routine, and it was him in a towel. And I looked up, and I was like, I'm good. It just sort of like rolled over and went back to sleep, and I just passed back out. So, you know.
Things are different with airsoft dudes. Airsoft guys are wild. I see Kev. Good to see you
Hey, Kev.
in the comments down there, and our fabulous regulars. I saw the post. It was very loving. Which story was it? Squirrel Airsoft? Move that game. Darn it. What was I saying? What story, Adam? Of me being hungover? Night number 1? That was really bad. Night number 1 was bad. I see Andrew over there. Sorry, bud. I'll say night number 1, right? So right before that, we had Roche Op. We were at MSATO Rochambeau, the first one. So incidentally, as me and Scott, I drove with Scott. The hour-and-a-half drive home ended up taking 3 hours because it was the middle of a snowstorm. And then it took my 20-minute drive, took me an hour to get home. So by the time I got home, it's 11 o'clock. I can't fall asleep until midnight because I'm freaking out because I almost died 3 times. And got on the plane at 3 a.m., got up to go at 3 a.m., 5 a.m., we get to the airport, get on the plane, start drinking. And then forever, this is that one. So then keep going. And all day, just drinking. We stop off at a place. We're drinking. You can just grab your drink and go for a walk. And you're walking around on the strip and you're drinking. So drink. And we drank. Even with the 3 hours, it had to have been 20 hours. It had been almost a full day of actual just drinking. And then we went we went someplace. Charlie from G&G was like, hey, yo, I'll buy you guys drinks. So he bought us drinks. He was like, yo, let's buy shots. And I was like, let's buy shots. So just kept doing shots and had more drinks. And in the course of an hour, I was just like, wow. So there's a video of me he has somewhere. And this was right before the Super Bowl. So he's like, oh, Chuckles, who's going to win the Super Bowl? I was like, because I know he's a San Fran. I was like, it's probably going to be the 49ers. Go Niners. Whatever. And so we went, oh my gosh, we went up, we tried to eat. I went to the bathroom twice thinking I was gonna throw up. I felt it. Didn't. Twice. And then I thought I was doing great. I was like, oh man, I'm doing great walking back to the hotel. Nothing bad is happening. I didn't realize that Andrew and Scott were behind me, holding me and steering me in directions. I got in bed. I laid down for 2 minutes, and I was like, I'm going to go throw up now. I went and I threw up all over the bathroom floor. It was not a good time.
So now I used to live in Pittsburgh. And before that I lived in LA. and now I'm sort of like I'm here. I'm in actually Massachusetts now. I moved here to be with my fiance, and I live right outside of Boston, and you guys are like an hour and a half.
Ooh, true.
So officially, okay. This is, I think, maybe the first time. No, I think maybe we've talked about it before on other podcasts and stuff like that. But this might be the first time, to you guys that I've ever, revealed there is actually a secret drinking club amongst airsofters.
What?
Okay, and so we've been doing it for the past almost 4 years. It's got the likes of Random Guy Kev, Dials 46, MC Kydex, Tactical Moose. I think we had Greg Wong at one of our events.
Oh,
like
boy.
we've had like a fair amount of people at these events, and we call it the Gauntlet. Okay, this is probably the first time that we've really publicly announced it. It is run by myself and of course Eric from Gun Gamers E-House.
Of course.
I want to meet him one day.
So listen very carefully to how I word this. We drink until you die. So
Okay.
It started. We were in Atlanta. We were at this place called the Flatiron. We had just gone to Power Ops. It's Nigel and Kevin and I, and simultaneously across the country in upstate New York, Eric is at this place called Flight West. It's this fancy like whiskey bar up in Rochester, and he's there with all the Gun Gamers guys, and they're all drinking at this place, and so at Flatiron we're sitting there. And I think maybe by the end of the night, Nigel and I had put down together somewhere close to like 12 to 13 pitchers of beer.
Oh, whew.
With Kevin just sort of sitting there drinking, like he had like a couple Coronas, and so we got pretty drunk, and so there was like it was just like this like night of just drinking pitchers, drinking whiskey and picklebacks. If you don't know what a pickleback is, trust me, I will show you. It is my favorite.
I'm in.
and so we're sort of like we're sitting there drinking, and Kevin gets up, and he's like, "All right, well, it's time to close. This bar's going. We gotta leave." And so we go to this bar that's across the street, and we walk in, and Kevin walks up to the bar, and he's like, "I want to get these, like these two dudes, like a Corona." And Kevin's just sort of like standing there. And he looks over, and Nigel and I are like smack dab between like all these women, like, and we're just like these the two biggest dudes in the bar, just like, and Kevin was like, what the hell? And then so we all we're done with there, we sort of get back in an Uber, we take an Uber, we drive all the way back to our hotel, which is like a Motel 6, and like right next to the airport, and we go to a Waffle House right next to the motel. And so we're at this Waffle House, and a fight breaks out in the Waffle House, right?
Oh.
As it does at 4:00 in the morning.
Of course,
right?
Inevitably.
And we just look over, and like Kevin's gone, right? Kevin's nowhere to be seen.
Peace.
And we were just like, "Can we get the check?" And they were like, "That little dude paid for it." And actually, we were just like, "Okay." We're just saunter back to the hotel room. Kevin's balled up on the bed, like as a tiny. He's like balled up in a corner on the bed, and from that point on, like I was waiting for the plane the next morning, and I texted Eric, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so hungover." And he was like, "How much did you drink?" And I was like, "Dude, I think Nigel and I had somewhere close to like 14 pitchers of beer last night." And I was like, "How much did you drink?" And he was like, "I think we had about half a bottle of whiskey per person." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, like we should, I don't know." And then he was just like, "It's the Gauntlet." And so the Gauntlet was born. I think we've had about 6 of them. We get people from all over the country that come out to them. Dude, all your favorite airsofters, man, they're there, and we are just dunking on them. And
Swoosh,
and just like we're making them do push-ups, we're making them do shots.
Oh
We're
God!
drinking beer, and
Once
you
the
know
shots
what, man?
start coming, no push-ups for me. I can barely do push up.
No, dude, that's why I asserted myself in a position of power, so I don't have to do any of that shit. So, like, you know, cause come on, man, I can't do a push up. So you know, just gotta like, you know, it's just like too much. It's just too much. So. But yeah, so officially we are inviting you to the we're inviting you to the gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm in.
So prepare to die. Get your affairs in order.
Take the make sure I take off enough days to recover.
Make sure you got the Pedialyte and Little Caesar's pizza ready. It's gonna be a rough night.
That's funny. Oh look, E-House. Eric is in the chat. Hello, my friend. Look at that guy. You're a nerd. You're a nerd. He called you a nerd.
He's in New Hampshire this weekend.
Ooh.
What's in New Hampshire?
His family, I think his family owns a house up there or something. They're having a good time.
Good.
They're having. I talked to him before I actually got on the podcast because had a little crazy something happen at work, so I had to give him a call. But yeah.
Oh
I
Jesus.
hope everything is okay.
So I'm always like very self-conscious that I'm like talking too much.
Oh, it's all good.
But
You're the
You're
guest.
fine.
They hear my voice plenty.
I'll tell you guys a story about what actually happened today. So I work. Funny enough, I work a couple hours a week at Starbucks. My fiance is a store manager, and so I work at Starbucks, you know, for the benefits. If you guys are looking for insurance, it's 20 hours a week, and then you get on insurance.
Oh.
And so you know, don't hate the player, baby, hate the game.
Hate the game.
Right? And so I'm like sitting. So this is like right when I start my shift. I'm probably a half hour in, and this guy walks in wearing a pair of gym shorts and an Infant Annihilator t-shirt. If you don't know who Infant Annihilator is, it's a heavy metal band.
Okay.
Eric's talked about it on his podcast before.
I think I know who that is.
Yeah, so and like their logo looks like a broken leather seat. You know that it's good if it looks like a trashy leather bar stool. And so I'm sitting there and I was I'm like bringing up this dude's order and I was like, is your shirt Infant Annihilator? And he was like, yeah. How do you know Infant Annihilator? I was like, oh, you know, actually, like my friends, they have like a YouTube podcast and they, you know, like they love metal and you know I listen to them sometimes, but they actually had the guitarist from the Acacia Strain on there, and he was like, dude, I love Acacia Strain, like that's so good. Like he was like, yeah, dude, what's the and I was like, well, like I was like, it's Gun Gamers. And he's like, with the one with Aaron. He's like, I was like, yeah. And he's like, how do you know Gun Gamers? I was like, well, Eric's actually going to be in my wedding. And he's like, wait a minute, who are you? And I was like, I'm Chris. And he's like, have you been on him? I was like, yeah, man, like, I'm Hoyt Airsoft. He's like, dude, you're Hoyt. You used to work for Ants. And I was like, yeah.
He knows.
He was like, what are you doing now, man? And I was like, getting you your coffee, dude. What are you doing? And I was just sort of like, he was like, that's crazy. And he was sort of like asking me all these questions and stuff like that. And I felt bad because I was like, yeah, man, like, what's your name? And he was like, oh, it's Landon. What's yours? And I like sort of clicked for a second because I was like, oh no, like I just need it for the drink.
You forgot you just met this guy. You were like, sir.
And I was like, oh, also, yeah, my name's Chris. And he was like, dude, I know exactly who you are. That's so cool. That's so crazy. And I just sort of like had this really weird, awkward moment with him where he was like asking me all these questions about Eric and asking me all these questions about Airsoft. And then when he walks out the door and he's like at the door and he's like, all right, man, like have a good one. He's probably gonna watch this because I told him about it. And he's like, have a good one. And then when he's all done, he like leaves the store the store is like, there's still customers in the store, and there's like, and like all the people that I work with just are like looking at me, and they're like, "Who are you?"
They like didn't know we had a celeb in the building. Oh,
I was like,
close-ups.
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. So, yeah. So that was how I started my day. So
that's pretty lit, bro. Okay, that's pretty. Look at you.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I gotta work at a Starbucks to get these do these experiences happen at Starbucks? I gave up my restaurant life, but maybe Starbucks is bad.
I kind of walked in and tried to like transition it into like a sexy like, hey baby, guess who got recognized today? She's like, yeah, whatever, nerd. Like,
Yeah.
like, all right,
Nerd, bro.
So, okay, virgin, thanks. Cool.
Like, how's your virginity feeling, bro? I'm kicking stuff. I'm hiding things. I gotta hide stuff.
Yeah.
I saw somebody ask when we will open again. We are open, and we have been open.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we're open.
I'm here. Well, either way, I've still been here the whole time. Even when COVID took off, I was still hiding somewhere in this building. I'd pop out and I'd give people stuff. They're like, oh, Chuckles, how's it going? But I'm like, it's going, baby.
Were you just John McClane it up in the air ducts with a lighter?
Yeah, I was just like,
come out to Rhode Island,
Yeah.
have a couple laughs, and then boom, it just falls right through.
right on the front counter, and the bosses are just like, why is... Just gotta pull up every embarrassing thing that happens on the cameras. Yes. Yes, E-House, Eric, we need to drink again. The last time, I feel like we could have done more, but circumstances led us to Smoky Bones. And Smoky Bones and Wings led us down a different path, I think.
Eric got something that was like, it was like some fruit drink, and he passed out halfway
He
through
was
it.
out cold. I
call
remember
him out
looking down the
right
table.
now. He was asleep,
I was
but I will
scared.
say
bro.
Amy had to drive us home. That was the biggest trip of 2018 was when we showed up. So I had rented from the car rental service a Fiat.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a Fiat. What we got instead was like a 4-door Dodge Camaro.
Yes, I remember you saying that.
And we there was a Dodge Charger, it was a Dodge Charger. We pulled up to SS in a Dodge Charger, and people were like, who the hell is that? Like,
Yeah.
And then when we were leaving, I just revved the engine, and Amy was like, you know what, I'm going to drive. And I was like, that's a good idea. I was like, hell yeah, brother, we're going to town. And then she was like, you are going nowhere. Get in the back. I was like, okay, let's go. We're going to go. We're driving home from Buford, and I've got my head out the window.
Oh my god. I remember seeing that at the end of the table. I just looked. I was like, ooh, I was like, is he asleep? I was like, I want whatever drink he's having. I was like, damn. I wish I could.
We were with Teddy from SOC and Cody from Oregon Airsoft.
Yeah.
And then Teddy's just filming Eric, and I'm just sitting there in the background going, look at this little bitch, look at this.
Oh my god.
We had not, I think maybe over that whole weekend, because we had gone out, of course we went out the night before we went, before the expo. We went out the night before and didn't get home till 4. We were up at 7, so we could be there at 9. And then Eric went to bed at midnight, and then they were on the flight home we got home probably somewhere around 2, and they were on the next flight out of there somewhere around 6. So I think maybe that whole weekend we got 6 or 7 hours of sleep.
Jeez, I remember. Actually, I ran into them at the airport going back. I ran into Eric and Amy, and I didn't know Wendy's did breakfast, so we all sat there and ate Wendy's.
That's so adorable. That's so beautiful. I love that.
I remember. I don't know why that stands out. I was just so funny.
Wendy's does breakfast?
I didn't know. Like, it was an airport. I guess that's what everybody does.
I remember, like that same weekend that we sort of started the gauntlet. It was Kevin and Nigel and I, and we were sort of like we were at McCarran or not McCarran, whatever Atlanta's airport. It's like a huge one.
It's like Jackson something. I don't remember.
I don't know. Jackson Hartfield.
Yeah.
But we're sort of sitting there and Kevin and I had like met up, and Kevin actually went to he had gotten into some like bougie captain's club or something like that somehow, and like, you know, we were sitting there and we're just like bullshitting together, and he had me like film him walking away for some reason, and we're sitting there, and his flight takes off, my flight takes off. We had spent a solid like 2 hours together at that airport.
Wow.
Simultaneously, we found, so like Nigel was like, yeah, my flight's pretty early, I'm going to take off. I found out like probably a year later, he was like, yeah, man, I was actually later at that airport than you guys were. I just want to be left alone. I felt so bad like at that point. I was like, what did I do?
How did I mess this up, bro?
He was like, man, honestly, he was like, I was shitting so much. We just too much. He was like, you guys were just like, he was like, I was afraid we were gonna start drinking again. I was like, shoot, and like, I think, you know, like he and I played like Warzone together, and I think there was like one night we were talking about it, and he was just saying, like, I could hear his wife like talking about it. She's like, I remember when you came home from that, you were pretty beat.
Yeah, just a little bit. It was pretty, you know, just another day in the books, I guess.
It was like, yeah. So, yeah.
Reminds me of everyone after the R9 year.
Oh my gosh! Last year, after when we do our anniversary Friday night, we do like the appreciation dinner for like all the guests and everybody, and like I can't quantify how much we drank. It was really bad. Like I looked the next morning and I was on Jet and Leah's like Instagram stories, shaking it. I think I was eating wings at the same time. Yeah. I was like shaking my little booty. We were there until like 2 a.m. just dancing, and we were like toast. I walk in the next morning and I'm just like, we're all of us we just texted each other. We were like, hey, you alive? And he's like, yeah, we're up. I was like, darn it.
Every one of my coworkers literally was just in the back room going, like, oh God, how are we going to do this today?
See, I can push through. All I need is coffee. If I have coffee and like, I just need Dunkies. If I have coffee and I have a sandwich or something, I could go the rest of the day, no problem. It might suck, but I'll deal with it. But like, no coffee means I'm not surviving whatever, previous circumstances happened. Eric is asking, so UTF shiz getting spilled. What does that mean?
So UTF, this might be, just sort of, I guess UTF is our United Task Force. It is a new line of games that are actually coming out, hopefully in 2021, COVID permitting. And we are, fingers crossed, trying to actually work with Extreme Airsoft. We are trying to lock down a couple other fields. Yeah, you gotta, pray to God that 2020 fares a little bit better for Airsoft.
We pray for the homies.
But we definitely want to do some stuff. Being the new guy in Massachusetts, in New England, I kind of just sort of want to set up some games so I can get out there and play with my friends, meet some new people, and we actually have some raffle items and stuff like that already set up. So honestly, just an excuse to give away some free shit.
Always.
I love it. But yeah, that's so UTF. It's the UTFJO, United Task Force Joint Operations. If you guys want to go ahead and look online or on Instagram, United Task Force. I'll drop a link on Hoyt Airsoft. Eric will drop a link on his Instagram. We'll see if we can get it up in the Gun Gamers discussion board on Facebook. but it is, like I said, it's just like dudes from a bunch of different teams, groups, and things like that. We've got, a lot of influencers, content creators involved, and we've got a lot of really great fields. We're looking at Truro Air Force Station in, I think it's like Maine or Massachusetts or something like that, but it's an abandoned Cold War Air Force station.
Wow.
It's going to be epic.
We're looking at for some, actually, I don't know if anybody's ever done this, but we're looking at for like a winter game, an overnight winter game.
Okay, that'd be amazing. Oh, that brings me
So
back to
we're like
ROTC.
some of that stuff. We're looking to have some training sessions and some day plays over at Extreme Airsoft. And we're looking to see, just honestly, like I said, I'm trying to get out and run the airsoft games that like I want to play. And I think it's going to pull people from a little bit more of like the hardcore end of the spectrum, but like I think it's going to be really cool, and we're going to be releasing sort of more and more as our first big event will be announced in September, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, so that's what the UTF Eric is talking about.
That's pretty fresh, yeah. Because my understanding was, it's good because you're going to have a lot of the hardcore guys, but it's going to be also good for the casual player that might not know a lot about, or doesn't.
Yeah, exactly,
There's that degree of they know airsoft, but there's a whole new depth to it that they might not be getting in kind of casual play.
And that's like a big thing that like we also want to focus on is that like especially you guys carry like Wiley, you guys carry LCT, GNG, you're carrying a lot of top brands, LBX.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things that like if you want to build that impression kit, we want to help you figure out what it's going to take, and we want to show you the right dudes to get it from. And and if you're not buying from Extreme, like, what are you doing? So,
facts. We can get is hardcore. Yes, exactly. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to read. I can't read sometimes. Hardcore games equally as welcoming to guys just getting. Yep, and that's the number one thing, and that's the other side of the coin that there's kind of a gap in. I think in airsoft that a lot of people are really. That a lot of younger players want to get into. A lot of players want to do like the milsim thing, and they want to be like, do this. They want to do these kits. They don't, the problem is getting them in because most ops, you're like, you have to be 18, or if you're 16 with a parent. So like you have kids as young as 14 always in the store being like, yo, where can I go? And I'm like,
I think a big thing for me is that, at one point in my life, I was with Russians, and I think at one, and at another point in my life, I was going to Lion Claw's events when they were like the event, you know what I mean? Like back in like the early 2010s, even beyond that, a little bit. I remember 2009, I think was like one of our first events that we went to. It was like a couple dudes in a van, we just drove out, and it was like, that was sort of like that feeling of like, this is hardcore airsoft. And then, I'm not gonna lie. It's weird. It's weird, like looking up to somebody who's almost the same age as you, but like I look up to Warren, and you look at some of the stuff that he's doing with Milsim West,
right?
And I want to figure out what's the way that we make that more accessible to like, how do we bridge that gap from, okay, you're staying in a hotel every night to like you're out on the field for 40 plus hours. You're digging a hole in the ground to take your next jump. And I think a lot of guys, they see that sort of leap where it's like, okay, cool, I'm going from paying like $120 to do an extended open, like 2 days of open play, to all of a sudden I'm spending $1,000 an event, and I need night vision to just
exactly.
walk
all this crazy stuff.
I can't see my hands, and so it's like right. And so I think that's what we are trying to like focus on as a group, and and it really just comes from, I think it comes from like the best place of like, we're not looking for cash. I think it's just like we're looking to host the events that we want to play.
Absolutely.
So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So
you know, and it's also, like I said, it's also like a big way to just see, you know, what the like the scene is like here in New England.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Stag Ops is up here, MSATO, Tolcom, you know, All Stars up here, obviously Extremes up here. You know, like, it's just like, you just have to.
Yeah, there's a lot of places around here.
Yeah, I looked on C3. There's like a callback.
Yeah,
I was looking at C3, and it was just like, there's like dots all over the country, and then you look at New England, and there's like a million of them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, that's crazy. And I think it's crazy that we're not having, like, the terrain out here is just so perfect to have, like, outdoor events and stuff like that. Simultaneously, my goal as, like, an outdoorsman is to trek Mount Washington in mid to late February. And my fiance is like, please don't. I want to get married. I don't want you to die. Like, I've been talking to Corey from TFK, and he's like, yeah, dude, I'll do it with you. We'll die together. We'll die buck naked. I'm like, yeah, Corey, let's die. And then in the other room, my fiance's like, no, don't die with Corey. Like, she's like, I need you just for a little bit longer. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, that's like, I just want to bridge that gap between we're about to die to, you know, let's hit McDonald's for that spicy Sprite, you know?
Yeah, so hey, we're going to set up these cots in this, like, negative 20-degree weather, and, yeah, we're going to sleep outside, so.
Yeah, dude, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it, you know, and that's, like, I guess also a thing. I look at Extreme, like, places like Extreme with these huge fields. You guys have this huge indoor field. Yeah. And it's like, it really is like a small town. You're like looking at it, it's huge.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to like bring, you know, a tent out there and be like, hey, this is how you set up your tent. This is how, if you bring a tent, this is how you set up your station to be safe, to be warm, to make sure that when you're coming off the field, you have a way to get warm. You have a way to keep, you know, hydrated. You have a way to, you know, keep your energy up. Here's how here's how you dress when you're out on the field. Right. I see a lot of guys that are going to events and it rains and they're done within the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they've never heard of sustainment gear.
Yeah, that's the worst. And then it's like going along the lines of that, like the number one, and from what I've seen, the number one issue you run into with everybody going to events, like the number one medical issue or game ending thing is like heat cas. Like, dudes show up and they don't have enough water. They don't think about packing it. They don't think about eating. Like, there's so many things that they're just, like, just doesn't process, which is, like, horrifying to me because everyone's like, oh, what happened? Oh, well, he passed out. Oh, well, he was throwing up. Like, I know my friend was playing he was at an op in Virginia, and he was, like, in the middle of contact, and he threw up, got up, you know, and then started doing his thing. But then he, like, almost had to get dragged back to the CP so that he could get refreshed.
You know, it's one of those things that, like, I think it's funny that you bring up PCAS. You know, I don't think that it's something that, like, we think about a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's not even just airsoft, but, like, as a society, you know, like, my fiance was telling me there was a guy at work that was like, he's like, I don't feel good, and I rode my bike here in the sun, and he's like, and he's like, I'm kind of cold, and I'm like, okay. That's heat cash. That's what that is. And she was like, okay, yeah, we'll deal with that. You know, and she sort of like got on it, and that was like a big thing. But like, I don't think that people realize, you know, like there's a lot of dangers that like we're sort of facing now that like we can just, you know, with just a little bit of training, a little bit of like heads up, you know, and
planning
would not be an issue.
Slight level of planning.
Water, you know, so.
Always have this on you.
I literally
saves lives.
I know for me, I always buy like 2 gallons of water in jugs that I will drink from when I'm not on the field, and I buy like a 24 pack of water bottles that I drink when I'm like on the field, like, and snacks and like it's baffling to me, but I also like I was lucky because the group of guys that I ended up with created an entire list of like pre-op checklists for stuff to do, but you know, this is stuff that we try to tell people that don't know. They come, you know, they're like, oh, it's my first mil sim, and I'm like, don't forget the water.
Yeah.
And
The
I was
thing that
gonna
blows
eat
my
those
mind
my
is like
first
dudes
one.
that'll show up on the field and be like, "Yeah, I brought like 8 bangs," and I'm like, "Okay,
Ew.
you should take that down to 0, and you should be drinking nothing but water." And like, who let you out of the house today?
yeah.
Like, it blows my mind. It's like, should
but
I call your parents? Do they know where you're at? Like,
I gotta say, Eric brings up a good point. The week leading up to the game, like me personally, like the week and a half before an event, like I'm drinking water and a large amount of it every day in preparation for that.
if you're not peeing every hour, then you're not hydrated enough.
Yeah, that's what I learned. There was one time we went to an event, and our boy literally brought a liter of Sprite that he was drinking. So he was like, by the time he was like, our squad leader, who was an old MP guy, so he was kind of hardcore. He was like, dude, piss in this bottle, and the bottle was like, he's like, did you have any water at all? Like it's like midday Saturday, and he forced the kid to like chug a gallon of water because he hadn't drank anything. Like horrible, bro.
I will say the saving grace. So Eric brought up Desolation. Desolation 1. I almost died. That's real. That's real.
Wow.
Every time, and I always hype up Desolation events and Omega events because every single time I go to them, there is a situation where I almost die. Desolation 1, I got hypothermia, or I started the early signs of hypothermia, and spent the next 6 hours in and out of a hot shower and a hot tub.
Lovely.
And I would honestly say, like, I would do it again. Desolation 2, I got West Nile virus.
Jeez.
I would honestly say I would do it again. But, that's the thing is, like, during Desolation 2, the best moment was, so if you've ever been to skirmish paintball up in it's like right around Scranton, in Pennsylvania, like Wilkes-Barre area. I think it's it begins with an A. But you get out there and there's this, like, the bathrooms are the most, like, medieval shit you've ever seen. It's like there's no water to them. There's just like hand sanitizer and holes in the ground. And so you're sitting. It's like we were at this event. It had to have been 100 degrees each day. We're sweating bullets, and then somebody like sneaks up and he's like, "If you're looking to cool down, go take a shit." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I go and I'm like sweating. I have to go. So I step off the field. It's a 48-hour event. You get there Friday, you leave Sunday. I get there and I sit on the toilet. I'm sitting on the toilet, and I gotta tell you, this beautiful gust of wind is just chilling you from your cheeks up. And I was just sitting there, and I'm like sitting there quietly, and then I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." And then I sort of hear my friend Dan from Gun Gainers is on the other side. He's like, "Isn't it though?" I wasn't even shocked that he was over there. I was like, "This is nice. Like, this is nice." All right.
High quality.
It got to a point where people were like stepping off the field just to go dump, just so they can get that cold. They're like, "Dude, I'm sweating. I'm going to the bathroom, man. I'm going to get out of that fucking toilet to cool down." It was amazing. It was amazing.
That is wild.
So, yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely that need. If anybody has any questions for either us or our fabulous guests, throw them down. We're probably going to start trying to wrap up. It's been a while. We got lost in the sauce. We had fun. I don't know if you guys seen this yet, but this is the new G&G, the PR. Is this the
PRKL.
PRK9L?
PRK9L.
So this is the new. I got it good. I got it prettied up. But these things are pretty solid. Like internally, like it uses the ETU and everything, so it's got the MOSFET. So you're running level 1 of this thing. It is M-LOK, which is nice. So I put on some of these rail covers. This nice little FortiScript. I love PTS. And the rail segment up front is just calling out for a PEC box. I think my only complaint is the same as everyone else's. And it's the magazine is hard to unless you put it, there we go. See, I got it. you have to put it all the way in. Like, it's a bit tough.
You just gotta get used to using an AK. Okay, you're so used to that M4.
Yeah, now.
You gotta get used to using an AK. You're just used to slap it, hit it, and forget it. Nah,
This one's like it's a like I love AKs, but this see you've done it way more than I have. You
really.
also run an AK.
Yeah.
I haven't run an AK in a.
E&L gang.
I used to run AKs way back in the day. Whoa, we got beef, bro, on the stream.
Let's just call it even, and we're all talking about SEMAs, okay?
True, yeah. the common ground for these mans.
Right?
Oh, Dave D'Amico. Oh, I remember. He said, "Love hearing news about you guys. Field looks sick, and it sounds like y'all are a hot spot for New England Airsoft. Keep killing it."
Yeah,
I remember Dave. I started playing here in 2012. I remember Dave was one of the staff guys here, and I loved him. He always ran his he had his M16. He's an OG, so. Thanks, Dave. It's good to see you. Crazy.
Do you guys mind while we're talking about guns if I show a couple real quick?
Go for it.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. So real quick, I got something from Elite Force, and I've got something from actually my own sort of armory that we're for those who don't know, I saw a couple of guys asking earlier. I actually build guns. Right now the turnaround time we're somewhere close to about a month out. I do got a lot of stuff right now. But I do custom externals and internals. So right now I got Elite Force from Elite Force. I actually have the new Tactical Force TF CQB. So I saw this on Random Guy Kev's Instagram. And I saw it and I was like, I don't know what it is. It kind of looks like everybody knows the Tactical Force is sort of being, there he goes. Everybody knows the Tactical Force is sort of being like this like janky little beginner stuff. I gotta tell you, and Chuckles, I'm sure you can agree. I got a box over here. It kind of snaps, dude.
Yeah, this
cool,
thing is
dude.
awesome. Like I love
the mags.
Yeah.
The mags are a little funky, but honestly, they're cool. It's you get 2 mags with it. It just locks right into place. It's a really cool little setup, and then what is even cooler. I almost say this is akin to akin to the Wraith stock. It's just this weird little CO2 stock that they have here.
There are 2
You just throw it in, seal it, and then you throw your stock back on. Yeah. And I think what's really cool, this is something. So we got it yesterday, and we were sort of fooling around with it, and we got it yesterday, pulled it out, and I just sort of pulled the charging handle, and I felt it click, and I was trying to figure out what it was. And then I realized, that's actually to rack the gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I call Nigel up, and I'm like, what can you tell me about this? And he's telling me, so yeah, you got your semi. Okay, so you got your semi.
And
you have a 6-round burst.
I don't call it the 6-round burst. I call it the burp.
It's all about the burst. You got yourself a nice rail system. There's nice flip-up sights. You get yourself, a little, maybe a little NC Star or Visium sight. And you can put yourself, a little PTS grip on there, and you have something. This is the perfect indoor CQB gun.
Yeah, these things are pretty mint. I mean, once you get used to the magazines, then it's all gravy. You still have a hop up on this guy. It shoots 250, but you still, when you pull the trigger, you still get a little bit of with the 2.5s, but you pull the trigger, you still get a little. It's got kick, especially the 6-shot burst. If you just rip that, you're like, I'm like, oh god, scare somebody.
You're gonna clap some cheeks with it,
surprise.
So we have that. Also from Elite Force.
Oh my gosh.
We have the CQB. The M4 comes with with the.
We'll leave ours over there.
I know you guys got a couple up there. This is the CQB with the amplifier. On top of Elite Force selling these, I will actually be selling these. We're gonna have to custom the HA CQB. The HA CQB is actually gonna come with. They should be releasing sometime of April next year. Each one is gonna come with an SNH gear or SHS gear set. We're gonna have a Lonex motor. We're gonna do some stuff to the barrel, do a new barrel build. Gonna rewire it to Dean's. Gonna have some cool stuff. Yeah, that's the CQR, right?
CQB, CQC.
CQC, CQR, yeah, CQB. So we're gonna have that stuff coming out soon. And then we're going to be able to go from this, and eventually we're going to have these coming out. The Full Metal, this is the VFC caliber. This John right here, this is actually my personal rifle. So we have this guy right here. This has everything from a barrel rebuild. This has, custom externals, internals. This one has been my rifle for the past, I think, maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
Has
solid.
the Strike Industries, PDW stock. We're gonna have that on there for you. We're gonna, have whatever. We're gonna have the Raptor charging handle. Those are gonna map out at, I believe we're looking at about 560 for those.
Damn.
So like I said, those are hopefully fingers crossed with everything coming in through, the way that it should, coming out in April or May. And we're going to try to get a couple up there at Extreme Airsoft for people to mess around with in the coming weeks. Going to have the TFCQB. And so I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that we're going to do with AEGs. I know there's a lot of cool, there's Fatco Customs, there's Bloomies, there's Umbrella. Yeah. But I really want to focus on, for me, a big thing is what can we build with some of the cool shit that's out there right now.
True. Facts.
And and then also, I do custom HBA builds. The Kythera, I haven't had a whole lot of experience with, but I'd love to get into that. So I think I have one coming, probably like third round.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
You are definitely gonna love it.
They look sick. The Redline stuff, the Wolverine, and like I said, I worked for the Amp for a really long time. Shout out to Kurt, shout out to Wes and all those dudes out there, pumping out those lines, pumping out those IGLs, AGLs. I know they've been working a lot with Polar Star. And Airsoft Junkies, they're also doing the same thing. I think that between the three of us, we can have some really cool HPA builds coming out within the next, the next 2 years. We'll see what we're going to have coming down the line.
Same.
So,
Be pretty
yeah.
fresh. All right, we're going to start wrapping up. And by start, I mean...
We're just going to do it.
We do have some questions. We got some questions. What's your favorite camo, Chris?
My favorite camo, it's a mix between ATAX FG and unfortunately, I hate to be this dude.
Oh no.
I like that Gucci gear, Alpine, multicam Alpine.
Dude, ATAX FG, no doubt, best green team camo ever. I got friendly fired more wearing ATAX FG than any other camo I've seen ever. It was so bad.
Green
zone. You know what's been sort of sneaking up in my I've been seeing a lot more of it though in my wardrobe is, I hate to say it, and this is a big FU to E-House from Gun Gamers, but I'm gonna have to say it. Desert Tiger Stripe and Vietnam Tiger Stripe.
Yeah, Tiger Stripe is the way.
There, man. It's there.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yes. Whew. Okay, I like where this is going. Okay, so the other question is from. Oh, geez, it disappeared. Oh, there it is. Eric asks, I don't know if this is for all of us. What's your observation of how indoor field play benefits outdoor milsim play? So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can kind of, indoor especially, we always try to do some cool stuff. I'm trying to think, how does it, one of the good things, the advantages you get with a lot of indoor is obviously everything's so fast-paced and close quarters that you're kind of used to, being, I gotta go, I'm gonna be fast, this. So a lot of your really close-up engagements, which is where, I mean, in my experience, a lot of engagements kind of end up anyways. If you're at an op, if you're at a milsim, odds are you're going to be going to some sort of a facility that has, it could be like a lot of the MSATO stuff, you're playing in a bunch of old mills, you're playing in, chemical plants, you're playing in this, you're playing in that. So a lot of it ends up boiling down to a lot of CQB stuff, which is great for like our team, the Reapers, because that's our bread and butter. But the disadvantage you run into, I think, is definitely spacing.
What is spacing in a CQB?
The spacing is the number one issue you run into is spacing, because everybody forgets that, like, if you all are too close together, you just get brrrt.
I think Nick did
think
that recently to a group of people.
I think one of the biggest things, like, for me personally, I've always been able to bridge that gap from like outdoor to like indoor, because I've played events all across the country, and one of my favorite AOs will always be RIP Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I love playing at Shelby. It's one of the best fields that we've ever been able to play. One of the things that you always have to remember when you're playing Shelby is that if you do not work with the terrain and the CQB, you're dead instantly.
Yep.
And that's just like there's no working your way around it. So I think one of the things is that you always have to remember is that, yes, you are gonna run, yes, you are gonna get there, but taking your time and working through the buildings is the only way that you're gonna do it.
Right.
So I think, to answer Eric's question, how do we see CQB, but indoor fields, meeting that mixture, that middle ground with outdoor fields? I think that what we need to start imparting on people, yes, be quick, be fast, but everything like that, but take your, at the same time, take your time. Take your time.
Yeah.
They're still going to be on the other side of that door, and they don't know that you're going to you're going to take 5 minutes. I've sworn so much, and I feel so bad. You're gonna go through that door in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna go through that door.
Right.
They just don't know when you're coming through. Yeah. That is the thing that I think that we need to work on when we start bridging that gap.
True.
Yeah.
Between outdoor to indoor.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about timing. All about timing.
Yeah.
Very, very, very true. So, okay. Somebody said Chuckles. Hi, Alex. It's Chuckles. Yes, I'm Chuckles. What's up, Alex? How you doing, bud? Okay. All right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap it up. We've been here a while. Yep. It's been a good time. I've had a great time. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. You're a blast to talk to, anyways. But it was nice, talking to, hearing some of your stories and just getting a lot of your feedback on stuff. So I'm looking forward to all of the goings on, man. I don't know if you have anything you just want to close out with to all the people.
Like I said, keep your eyes peeled for a UTF event coming up. Hopefully, like I said, at COVID permitting, gonna have it at Extreme Airsoft. I'm working with Chuckles, working with dudes at Extreme. And check me out on Hoyt Airsoft on Instagram.
Thank you for joining us.
Look at some of the stuff that we're doing with Gun Gamers and the BB Warrior, and yeah, I look forward to being on again.
Can't wait. Chris, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been your boy Chuckles.
Chili.
And Chris. You guys are great, beautiful. Stay well. Hope to see you guys this weekend.
Cheers.
See ya.